Good morning, Bison Nation, and this tutorial is specifically designed for my EOC teachers, but this would be utilized for anyone who creates an assessment in Performance Matters and would like to look at their scores. All right, so this is the main dashboard for me when I log on, so just understand that you may not see exactly what I'm seeing, but what you want to do is you want to go up in here into these tabs, and there's a couple different places I like to go to look at some reports. And the first one is going to be, if I click here on reports and scroll down here to student item analysis. So I've clicked on that. Performance Matters does take a little bit of time to generate some information. So then I would go here to select my test, and you can see that it's sorted by subject area. I'm going to use biology, and I'm going to use the interim assessment from the spring, the last one. I should be in demo mode. So you're not going to see any students' names. You're just going to see a bunch of numerical signs within their names. So we're going to let this load up. Yep. All right. So if you look here, what I'm seeing is I am seeing the entire biology department because I am the curriculum facilitator. And what you will see as a teacher is you will see your entire group of students. So if you teach 3 biology classes or 3 math 1 classes or 2 English 2 classes, you're going to see your total students here. If you want to drill down by classes, that's going to be in a different video. Right now, I'm just going to show you how to navigate this screen and actually really do some drill down on your data. All right, so if you look here where my mouse is at the attributes, these are your standards. And these are the standards that were tested on this particular interim assessment. Here are the number of items. So there were 4 questions per standard. And then you've got your student breakdown. And then over here, you can do some sorting and you can see the average. What I really like about this system is that let's just say I want to look at this particular standard. If you notice, if I just put my mouse over it, it's going to show me a brief snippet of the standard and what it's being tested. But if I click here on 4, what's going to happen is that down below, it's taking a moment. Here we go. You can see these are the 4 questions on the interim assessment that are aligned to this standard 3.3.1. And so because you have paper copies for your students available to you that you can put right up onto your document camera, you can go right to these 4 questions and look and see what without having to go through the whole exam. This is just a shortcut. Now, here are some things you can look at once you're here and you see that these are the 4 questions. So first here, if I put my mouse here, you can see the different items within the question, their specifics. So it talks about whether or not the depth of knowledge. So this was a level 3. The ranking of the difficulty is challenging, and then at the standards, and then the points possible. Those things are just part of what the district sets up. But then if I click here where this little, it looks like a play button, if I click on that, it's going to actually bring up the question. And what I really like about this, and most people don't, if they don't play around with this enough, they don't notice it. You can look down here at the distractor rationale. So you can see where I'm highlighting right here. So it really gives you some information. Now, I'll be honest, we have found a couple where we don't agree with the answer choices, but it's still a good thing to bring up. And this is something you could bring up on the overhead for your students to see in terms of seeing that distractor rationale. And you could talk about, why A is the correct answer, and then what was said in B, C, and D that is not making it a good answer choice. And then if I just click on that box in the upper right hand corner, it goes away. The next thing you can do is you look right here, you can see I've got 50% of my entire students who got the correct answer. So half my kids were able to answer this question. But if I click here on this little graph, and it's going to take a minute. Oh, it's not allowing me to look at that. That's not good. So I'm going to do a right click here. Nope, it's not going to let me. Let's see if it'll do it again. It is. Well, if you click there, that'll actually give you the breakdown of your answer choices. Oh, I was able to get to it here. I am so sorry. So if I click here by the number 7, so if I go, if you can see where I'm at, you can see how many of my students compared to the district picked A, B, C, D. And so what you can see really quickly at a glance is that D was the most popular answer that was chosen incorrectly. And so what you could tell, you could have conversation with your students about those of you who picked D, what was it that made it just slightly different from A or what made it better? And you can see very few kids picked B and not as many kids picked C. Okay. And then if I just go back to item attributes, it takes me back to the home page. And then again, you can pick all this information again for your standard. Now, let's just say you don't want to look at this anymore. You're just like, okay, I'm done. Because if you click on 4 here and say you want to look at standard 3.2.2, if you click on 4, what happens, and it takes a minute. What happens is I now have 8 questions, and it's now mixed with 3.3.1 and 3.2.2. But if you look up here at additional filters, and if you click here, you can see down here, you can X off the standard you were just using. And again, it takes a minute. Performance Matters is not the fastest website. Okay, so now we have the 4 questions that are aligned to standard 3.2.2. Okay, but what if you wanted to actually look at students specifically? Like you're looking here and you see that 41 students or however many students are in your class are all in the red, meaning that they did not score proficient. They are actually below proficient. Even your yellow students are below proficients. But now let's just say you want to know who those kids are right away. Well, if you just click on 41, it'll take a minute. And you look down here, here are your students who are all in the red on this particular standard. Okay, so you've immediately got what they've done, and you can actually see their answer choices, and you can have conversations with them about what they chose and their success rate on this. And then if you want to eliminate that, you just hit X up here. And it takes a minute. And you're back to here. So that's the other thing is now you can drill down to the student level. You can drill down to the standard level. And then if you just put your highlight over here, you can look. So this just gives you a basic how to look at my data for your interim assessments.